There are currently 12 teams I think would beat the Mavericks in a 7-game series this year, and those teams are the Lakers, Cavs, Kings, Pelicans if healthy, Celtics, Warriors, 76ers, Heat, Nuggets, Suns, Bucks, and Clippers. And there are also teams that I think would come very close to beating them, like the Knicks and the Hawks. So even if you disagree with a couple of those, you have to admit that theoretically, every one of these series would be a threat to the Mavs. Yeah, the Mavs had some cool offseason additions and they might have gotten a little bit better, but the truth is, it is virtually impossible for them to have any chance of success with the way their roster is constructed, and here's why. I just want to clear this up, Mavericks fans. I don't mean any sort of disrespect, okay? Don't go crazy. I'm just telling you what I believe to be true, backed up with evidence. I'm going to start by saying that the word duo is misunderstood in the NBA. The definition of a successful duo in the NBA is two players, typically stars, that complement each other. NBA teams that are two-star oriented and play your turn, my turn basketball have never won a championship in the history of the NBA, and they never ever will. So when two stars pair up, sure, you could say they're a duo, but if they don't complement each other, then they're not winning anything. Let's look at some of the championship backcourts in the past. Curry and Clay. They work because Clay is a system catch and shoot player. He does an ISO. Jordan and Pippen. One superstar, one nitty-gritty piece that complements perfectly. Parker and Ginobili. One playmaker, one system scorer. Magic and Worthy. One playmaker and one scorer defensive monster. The list goes on. And on top of that, there's also a pretty hefty list of failed backcourt duos in recent history. John Wall and Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Westbrook and Harden, Kyrie and Harden, and tons more. So what do all of these failed duos have in common? Both the 1 and the 2, the point guard and the shooting guard of each duo, are ISO oriented. They both are just scorers and nothing else. So what makes you think that Kyrie and Luka has any chance of working? And on top of all that, the most successful duos of all time are guard big duos. Shaq and Kobe, Magic and Kareem, Parker and Duncan, Jerry and Elgin, and even Jokic and Murray. And that list keeps going. All of those duos complement each other perfectly, and there's not a single ISO duo that has won a championship in the history of the NBA besides Shaq and Kobe. Together, Kyrie and Luka had a record of 5-11 last year. They lost to teams like the Kings and Heat because those teams have so many sources for productivity and don't run their entire offense through an ISO-based duo. And yes, chemistry is a real thing, and I will acknowledge that two stars meshing like that takes a long time, but it is proven that teams that play duo ISO ball aren't going to beat teams with cohesive systems and all-around reliability. All of the recent past champions allude perfectly to this point. Check for yourself. The Suns actually realized this offseason, and that is exactly why they traded for Bradley Beal and improved their depth. There's a lot of talent out there, and if it doesn't mesh naturally, say goodbye to your chances at a championship. I do have some possible trades that the Mavs can make to maybe get better and put them over the edge of one of those teams previously mentioned. Here are those trade ideas. The main common denominator of these trades is getting rid of Jaden Hardy and getting a big. The Mavs are a team that need to compete right now, and a young piece like Jaden Hardy, who showed a lot of potential last year, is going to carry immense value for rebuilding teams. Getting a guy like Kevin Porter Jr. to come off their bench to drop 18 a night and let Kyrie rest is a must if they want to compete. Keldon Johnson is a proven bucket getter, and the Spurs might not want to deal with his $20 million contract, so Keldon would be the Mavericks' new third option and their third best player. And also providing a 3-level score that defenses have to game plan for would make a huge positive impact on the availability and freedom that Luka and Kyrie get from defenses. So a third star is very important because if they want a game plan only for Luka and Kyrie, they can. I mean, yeah, you have to game plan a little bit for guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., but he can't score on all 3 levels. He's a spot-up shooter. If the Mavericks can get one of those players, defenses would have to respect that, and that would take pressure off of Kyrie and Luka for obvious reasons. And as far as the bigs go, the Mavericks don't have a great option, right? I mean, right now their bigs are Dwight Powell, JaVale McGee, and rookie Derek Lively. So having a threat off the pick and roll would help Kyrie and Luka in ways you can't even imagine. Look at what Clint Capella did for Harden in Houston. He'd be great with Kyrie and Luka. So these are just some moves that I think could get the Mavericks a little bit closer to competing, but at the end of the day, the way this team is constructed pretty much prohibits them from winning any sort of chip or coming close. The addition of Grant Williams is cool, right? And they have key guys like Josh Green and Tim Hardaway Jr. who are productive for sure, but Kyrie and Luka is just not a duo set up for success, and there is evidence to prove it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this.